And welcome back. We're now moving into our third conversation for the show this morning. We have with us Karen Locke Lito. She's an international facilitator. And we have along with her Charlotte Neal Lopez. She's the managing director of the Belize Institute for Service Excellence, Leadership, and Research. We're going to be discussing conflict management skills 101. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Conflict management. Where do you want us to begin from? Because this is a fairly broad topic. What do we need to know first and foremost?
Well, first and foremost, you need to know that Karen is the expert on conflict management and not I. I tend to create the conflict. Karen diffuses it. But my name is Charlotte Neal, and a year ago, the Belize Institute was established for Service Excellence, Leadership, and Research. And for the past couple months, we've been doing online training as a result of COVID. And it really has opened the door for us tremendously. And today is an example of that we're able to bring in international facilitators and to our online learning platform. And I must say that, Udemy, Coursera has nothing over us. We're right up there with that international standard. We are able to also attract foreign students to our platform and doing our trainings. And so this week on Saturday, starting Saturday, we have Karen Lito, who will be working with our participants in facilitating a session on conflict management for the next 3 Saturdays. And we're excited to see how this goes, as well as looking at other facilitators, international and local, as we continue this journey to excellence in terms of our short courses.
Excellent.
All right, so Karen?
It's something that we really need to learn more about and deploy more in Belize, conflict management. So much conflict, but go ahead, Karen, tell us.
I'll tell you a little bit about why I think conflict management is so important. Right now, really important. It was always something that was important. Just being able to really look at things and being able to really assess a situation can really create an environment that's healthy to be able to actually resolve your disputes. It doesn't require argument and tears and drama if you really do learn these skills. And I think one of the things that when Charlotte approached me about this, one of the things that I do is I train women leadership, women in executive positions. And one of the skills that I teach them is conflict management. We tend to think as women that we need to be tough and like guys and just really always out there and aggressive and assertive. And that's a whole different course that I teach. But for conflict management, we all need the same kind of temperament and the same kind of roles. So I've come up with about 8 rules that I kind of use for my clients. And one of the first thing is never jump to being defensive. Once you start becoming defensive, you've already lit that fuse to what's going to be a negative outcome. It's really important to kind of listen to the other person. Don't point fingers, my second rule. Don't point fingers, because once you start doing that, it's really hard to change the dynamics of the discussion and to in any way make an impact to try to come up with a solution. Because the whole idea of dispute resolution is for the 2 parties or more to come up with something that's a win-win for everyone that's involved. And now with COVID, it's interesting because just going to the local store, which we don't do often, I'm here in Florida, but we've been to that a little bit more lately. I'm in Central Florida, and of course, just like South Florida and the other parts of Florida and Belize, we're experiencing the COVID issue. And the things I've seen that people have said and done to each other, I thought, wow, if I could just get you in one of my trainings. And it's really not about the fact that that person have really done something to them. I think it's the fear that we're feeling during this time. So we tend to be even more ready to be defensive, ready to point fingers. We have the massers and the no massers here in our county, like many other places. And the tension, I'm thinking, guys, you guys all want the same thing. And that's not to get this thing. Like, we've got to come to some type of understanding. And then my other very important rule is let the person explain themselves. Like, you have to actively listen so that you can reflectively listen to someone. The most recent incident I saw was at our local Home Depot, which is this big box store that sells things. And it was interesting how there's the marks, of course, where people are online, they're 6 foot apart, and there's people without masks, there's people with masks, and someone sort of pushed their way through without a mask, didn't follow the 6 foot rule, and I think it was just because of habit, not that they were like, oh God, I'm here and I need to get online and you're in my way. It was really just a matter of probably, this is what we do. So you didn't think about the fact, A, I didn't have a mask. The gentleman actually had a mask in his pocket and took it out when the dispute started to rise. And I didn't intervene because it wasn't my place, but just to watch the interaction, and I thought this could really get ugly. And then the gentleman pulled himself back and pulled this mask out of his pocket and stepped back. But the reaction of the person who started the dispute was just really interesting. But it's fair. I mean, they're just scared, like we're all scared.
Here's a question.
Yes, sir.
Normally, when there is an issue at hand, we tend to respond reflexively. Perhaps we raise our voices, perhaps we take an opposing position based on our own, personal bias or what have you. How difficult is it from a professional point of view to tell someone, look, you need to either take the high road or you need to change your approach in terms of addressing an issue, when naturally what comes to us is to kind of, to be defensive or to say the things that we want to get off our chest first, as opposed to listening to that individual and being able to reflect on what is being said?
Depending on who that person is, and if you haven't had prior training in conflict resolution and your own personality is one that you like to be argumentative, so some of us are like that, it could be very, very difficult. And that's why there's actual trainings and ways to teach this skill, because the tone of your voice really could set off an explosion for something that could be quite simple. I think that when I'm called in to mediate disputes, and I find that sometimes it's as simple as someone actually had, in one case, had left a private confidential budget on a copier, but the person who left it did it out of total, just ignorance. Something horrible happened in her own personal life where she got a phone call. But the person who was the recipient of the budget being left there and her salary is on it and this whole drama thing, didn't think about that. She just thought, you left it there. You didn't think about me. This is all confidential. I pay you to do this. And it was just an ugly kind of situation. And once the story all got said and done and they talked about it, and we taught them to use I statements, I don't feel like you're hearing me, things like that. Instead of, you're not listening, you don't care about me.
Yeah.
Things will only make the situation worse. So using I statements, really the tone, and it's very difficult, I will say, for some people. Other people are natural. They just are peacemakers, and there's so much peacemakers that they get beaten up a lot because they just sort of back down and don't get what they want in a dispute either. And it's important that both sides get what they want. Very important.
So how do you balance being assertive but being fair in terms of listening to what the other side has to say?
Excellent question. Assertiveness is required in some situations, but it's not required in every situation. To mutually have a discussion that's going to create some type of solution to your dispute, assertiveness may be needed, especially if you feel that you are being taken advantage of. But that assertiveness doesn't mean you have to be rude. You can be extremely assertive and not be rude or demeaning. And your tone could be one of total neutrality. Being assertive just means that you insist that you get what it is you came to get. It does not mean that you're mean and you're yelling and you're like, this is what I want, this is what I demand. That's not being assertive at all. That's just being a bully. Being assertive and balancing a solution for a dispute is actually really two things that work together. You do not give up your assertiveness because you sometimes have to give in on some of your demands.
Yes, well said. Charlotte, I really think that we need to have some of your conferences take place in the House of Parliament, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate perhaps. I mean, because what an example we set at that level, but well said, well said. So let's talk about this from a national standpoint now. Where should this drive, this drive to resolve conflict in a calm and peaceful way, where should this drive be coming from? Because we've become very aggressive as a society. lack of respect, lawlessness, and all that stuff. And they say, the first step to lawlessness is just the loss of respect, for other people. So where should this drive come from? Should it be coming, well, we know it should come from homes, but should it be coming from schools, from our leaders? What is going to be your approach, Charlotte?
That would be Karen.
Oh, Karen, sorry.
You could take that, Karen.
Okay. I actually believe that all leaders, whether political leaders, those in government, in corporations, teachers in classrooms, the parents, everyone really needs to become an advocate for conflict resolution, but settling our disputes in a manner much less violent than we've seen lately, much less divisive. I really think that one of the things that I always say at the top of every mediation, do not take anything that's said in here personally. Because once we make something personal, you're never going to be able to resolve it. The minute that you start to think that it's about me, then of course you're going to be hurt and all those human frailties will start to show. So if you don't take it personally and you really just look at that conflict, look at what that issue is, and then let's just try to find solutions. None of us want to live in a world that's ugly and full of violence and hate and so forth. I don't believe that any of us want to really live in that kind of environment. I think the goal is for us to live in a more peaceful, everyone wants to be happy, do what they need to do, take care of their kids, their families. So it's really important, I think, that leadership takes the forefront in this.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. All right. So, can you for us, Charlotte, repeat or go over what the schedules are, what we're looking at insofar as this particular skill session?
Okay, this training is really open to the general public. You can find information on our online learning platform at www.bzlearn.com. Also on our Facebook page, Belize Institute for Service Excellence, Leadership and Research. This course begins on Saturday. Our courses are conveniently scheduled mostly on Saturdays and on the evenings for those professionals who are working and might not be available during the day. So the course on conflict management begins on Saturday the 12th at 9:30. You can sign up, you can contact us at info@bzlearn.com or 670-9564. There are many ways to get in touch with us. The best one is through our online learning platform, bzlearn.com, BZ for Belize. This course was originally scheduled to start last Saturday, but due to the little upset as a result of Hurricane Nana, we pushed back so people could settle in a bit. And so on Saturday, we still have a few more spaces. And the exciting thing about our courses, not only are they convenient and of high quality, but they are so affordable. This course for the entire month is being offered for only $50, 4 sessions. I mean, how can you not take advantage of this? We encourage organizations and individuals, even leaders of homes, to partake in this very interesting and timely course on conflict management being offered by the Belize Institute and facilitated by Karen, who is an expert in this area. Karen is actually the chief, Karen, remind me, it's Crosswinds. Tell us a little about that. Yes.
Chief Operating Officer of a 45-year-old nonprofit where we see families, thousands a year, and we deal with all kinds of conflicts and so forth. So
awesome, right? Yeah. Our institute is actually, like I said, celebrating its first anniversary as an institute, although our facilitators are seasoned facilitators. They've been doing this all their lives. And so for the month of September, we will be offering a lot of giveaways. If you go on our website and our Facebook page, you will actually see our first promotion for this month, which is a free public speaking course, The Art of Public Speaking. 2 hours as a free course, and each month we will be doing a free course from now until the end of this year, in order to we are so passionate about ensuring that we are exposed, that we are raising the bar in terms of professional development. And we want people to take their professional development and their personal development as something that it's up to them. Right? Take personal responsibility and be deliberate in your attempt to improve and to uplift your standards. It does make a big difference when you are able to grab these soft skills. It changes your life. It changes the way you operate and the way you think. Sign up for this course. I am urging you, get in touch with us. We have about 10 more spaces in this course that's coming up on Saturday.
Charlotte, I want to say congratulations. I mean, for a young organization such as yours to be focused on service excellence, something, by the way, that is desperately needed in any country, in any environment, in any business, in any organization, but certainly more desperately needed in our society, and especially in the setting of a pandemic where people are on edge and people have needs, and people are focused on those needs, and they lose sight a lot of the times on the things that we should be focused on. So Charlotte, thank you very much for taking the initiative, and it sounds wonderful. Your initiative and your program sound excellent, and I encourage everyone, including politicians, to take your course.
Most definitely, we are open to the public, and we want to thank our many customers who over the past months have really locked into these trainings, because really and truly it does make a difference. It's a very small investment. It's not even a cost. It's an investment in your own personal and professional development. It pays to take our online training. Go check us out. Like I said, Coursera has nothing over us. We are of an international standard, right? I'm really tired of hearing people say, you know, oh, it's local quality, all right? That's our standard. Excellence. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you too.
All right, so we're going to go to our final commercial break, and when we return, it's to wrap up our show for this morning.